This is the most important and crucial period of your lives, for what you do now and what you decide now at this age may well determine which way your life shall go. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. And I want to suggest some of the things that should be in your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate.
Happy New Year, happy Kwanzaa. Thank you for tapping in. This is Brian HRap D. Williams. As you see on the bottom of the screen, I am presented to you by the End of the Bench Media. A few minutes with HRap is the name of the program. As usual, like, thumbs up, whatever you do. That's what I need you to do. Like, a thumbs up, or whatever it says on your source of watching this. You can watch it as you also see on the bottom of the screen at www.thaendofdabench.com. It's important that you go there. I'm going to show a video. You know how I do this every day. Show a video that is important to our history and our culture. I'll give you information that I think is pertinent to us being a successful and prosperous community. And then I close out. I wish you a good day, and I'll see you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for a few minutes instead of doing a whole hour and consuming your day. Pop in, say hi, say blah, 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 and leave. Leave a note, comment if you agree. Leave a comment. If you disagree, leave a comment. Let's engage. It's a conversation, not a dissertation. I've been saying that for a very long time. Thank you to my parents, Dolores and John. I always say Dolores and left hand, both of us left hand, and John's my father. Without them, there's no me. Without me, there's no program. You'd be doing something else. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to share with me. Now, go to www.thaendofdabench.com, watch that video, and then I'm going to show you the history. You can watch it in its entirety. It's also created by a brother by the name of Country Boy. He is on One Mic History. Go check it out. It is chock full of history. History is the key. Without history, we will not be able to get to the future. Leads me to the topic today, the 100-year war that we entered Election Day 2024. Now, it's the end of the year. It is Kwanzaa season. Creativity is the day for Kwanzaa. I don't want to butcher the name because I always say it wrong, but you know what it is. Kwanzaa, it's the day. It's almost the second to the last day of Kwanzaa. What I want us to do is practice the principles of Kwanzaa for 365 days a year. Those principles, creativity, group economics, kuchikachalia, defining oneself and things of that nature, all those things, Nia, all those things, we need to practice those 365 days a year. Again, using history to dictate the future. If we don't know our history, we will consistently go in circles. If you are a spiritual person, much like myself, if you're a believer in the one God, Jesus Christ, you will read that book, and you will realize that that book is showing you, like in the book of Exodus, they continued to make the same mistake, and that's why they took a four-day journey, took 40 years, because they refused to listen to realize what they had done, and then they did. Now we're gonna do it. We're gonna make the same mistakes. So with that being said, I want you to understand we must know our past to move to move forward in our future, because the same things that bothered our ancestors, our great-grandparents, our grandparents, our parents. I'm a grandparental age, and my children and their children and their grandchildren. So if we fix it in 2025, we won't have these issues in 2026, 7, 8, 9, and until infinity. Now, why did I pick 100 years? Because think about 100 years to fix things in this world. It really does. When you if you work on something for 100 years, it becomes second nature. That's why when you hear people from our communities, we look at other people that are prosperous and say, we need to be more like them. You know why we're not more like them? Because our history was interrupted. Again, our history was interrupted. 1619 is not the beginning of the black man on earth. That's the beginning of the capturing of the black man on earth. And actually it's in 1524 when they first started capturing us, documented. And what happened is we were over here and got captured, and more of us were brought over here and captured and enslaved and put into things and put into 200 years of indentured servitude and treated like cattle and treated like animals and treated less than human. And then we are paying the price for that. So if you can get hurt for 200 years, it's going to take 400 years to come up out of it. But we're not going to suffer for that pain anymore. What we're going to do is this. We're going to identify that pain. We have. Most of us have. We're going to think in a group. We're going to have group think for this purpose, not in life, because life is not about thinking the way you want to think. People who I love, people who I despise, people who I'm cool with, we all think differently. I like to say that's why the world spins, because everybody tilts it in their direction. What I want us to do is to come to a conclusion that we do have a problem first and foremost. And once you identify that you have a problem, you must say, this is the problem, identify the problem. And once the problem has been identified, then you find out where did the problem come from. And then when you figure out where the problem comes from, you scrub it. It's just like a germ. When for 2 years, nobody in America had a cold. You had COVID or you was cool. You were cool. So you know how we got rid of the cold, what it's called, a rhinovirus? We wiped down everything. We disinfected everything. We wore masks. We washed our hands. We sanitized our hands. We eliminated the possibility of viruses. We got healthier, and then we moved on. And now we've become lax. And guess what? That's why I'm talking through my nose right now instead of breathing normally, because I shook some clown's hand, and guess what? I shook that clown's hand, and guess what? I got a cold now. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I got lax. We got lax as a community. But what I'm going to do is offer this going forward, because whether you want to admit it or not, I don't want to hear about your cool friends from other cultures. I don't want to hear about you've had better experiences from other cultures than this. I don't want to hear about any negativity that is attached to my folks. What I do want to hear is this. People saying, okay, I agree, but we can do it this way. I agree, but how about this way? Let's add this to it. If you don't have anything to add to what I'm saying, please subtract your opinion. And that's just all I have to say. Because guess what? Every idea in the history of the world has an 89 to 90% chance of failing. I know that. Therefore, if you're telling me my idea is incorrect, what I want you to do is offer a solution or offer yourself a seat and listen until you have a solution. And then we can incorporate that into the solution that I've come up with moving forward. The biggest problem is I personally believe we major in the minors. We major in the minors. What we do is this. We don't support each other. What we don't do is acknowledge what we see and know. We go by what we hear and have been told. The biggest problem in our community is lack of economics. If you're in war and you can't afford metaphoric bullets, if you can't afford metaphoric tanks, if you can't afford metaphoric airplanes and all the tools of war, you will lose that war. How do we gain those tools? Those tools are knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. How do you gain that? With finance. Money ain't got nothing to do with knowing things. Yes, it does. Because in order to know something, you must be able to go obtain it. To obtain it, you need finances. When you get the finances, obtain those things, you must mass produce those things and share them with your people. Group economics. We're going into a seriously tumultuous time with the inauguration of the next president and his forces. Thank God that these people are wicked people. Wicked fights wicked, and we are righteous. And so we will fall back. Wait for the wicked to do their bidding, and then we'll take the pieces that they leave back, and then we'll take those pieces and build them up into a palace, as we've always done, and as we will continue to do. But group economics, people, do you understand, to quote the great Dr. John Henry Clark, and something that I've looked into about Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. John Henry Clark are the people who I respect the most, and they said, and I quote, Dr. John Henry Clark said, if we just only bought the underwear from black underwear distributors, we'll create a whole new business. Blue jeans, pants, shirts what have you, and we just went exclusively black owned. But it's somebody somewhere saying, or somebody that will somewhere say, oh, but dot, dot, dot. See, you worried about the but. You're worried about the but. Let's get it cracking and fix it. See, what if the light don't work? Then I wouldn't be online right now. What if electricity doesn't work consistently? Then we wouldn't be talking on phones and things like that. We wouldn't have lights in our house. So we're not going to worry about what if. What we're going to do is enforce what we need to do. And what we need to do is enforce group economics. Black grocery stores, black online shops, black clothing stores, black perfumes, colognes, everything that we need to focus on black, whether you know it or not. If you watch this program, you have this your first time watching, thank you. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend and tap in regularly, holler at your man. But whether you know it or not, we're the largest community in the United States of America. White is not a community. Black is, though. You call yourself African American, you call yourself Indigenous American, you call yourself foundational Black Americans. You call you whatever you want. But the people that look like me in this country, whose ancestors were enslaved, and some of us were freed here and walking around this country, the people who get subjected to all type of tyranny, we're the largest community in the United States of America. I've said this a bunch of times. I say it maybe like twice a week. If I'm on 5 days a week, I say it at least twice. On the off week, I say it twice. But we're the largest community in America. There's no reason the Democratic Party, Republican Party, and any other party would be focusing on the Black community if we were the largest community. Nobody majors in the minors like I'm asking us not to do. Group economics is the key. We're the largest community in the United States of America. Said that. I keep saying it because I want it to sink in. Because, again, I say this, 128 million Mexicans in Mexico. It's 116 million Russians in Russia. I think it's 68 million Germans in Germany. And then it's like 20s and 30s everywhere else. Right? Right. If it's 55 to 60 million of us, if they say it's documented 45 million from the census, most people in that community don't deal with the census. So you're going to add another 20 million to that. So you're talking about 65 million of us. Are you telling me that 65 million people can't change the way things work in this country? If we start working with each other. See, because then we can go to the Chamber of Commerce, we can have group meetings, we can have block clubs, neighborhood, and go to these institutions and say, hey, we're gonna rock with y'all while y'all price is high. But when y'all continue to buy in bulk and then that price go down, we need y'all to share that discount with us instead of just getting rich like our oppressors. This is not a capitalistic situation. This is scientific. Socialism I'm speaking of. Salute to one of my favorite people in the history of the world from Trinidad and Tobago, one brother by the name of Kwame Ture. You may know him as Stokely Carmichael. Learn that from him. See, I learned things from the people of history, and which enhances it, so I can deliver it to my people so we can all grow and build this nation of Black folks, no matter if you're from here, the continent, the Caribbean, South America, Central America, wherever you're from, Canada, whatever. But it's us. Now, oh, by the way, there are billions of us on the planet. The largest amount of people who were enslaved in this country is not on this world are not from the United States. They're from damn Brazil. Yeah. More Black people in Brazil than people look like me in Brazil. They're here in America, but y'all didn't know that because they don't tell you these things. Because if we ever come together, see, look, you got Africans, you got Caribbeans, you got Central Americans, you got Mexicans, you got African Americans. If we come together, we're a fist. They don't want to deal with a fist. Back to my point. We need to get to the point where we support each other. If you have a bad experience, I've had a bad experience in a lot of things in life. That don't mean I'm going to give up on things in life. But what we have to do is no longer major in the minors, the things that are not going right. What about the 80 times that you went there? Well, every time I go to a Black establishment, it's always a problem. The prices are too high. The prices are too high because they don't buy in bulk. They don't buy in bulk because we're not supporting them. We don't support them. How do we expect their prices to go down? If we have communication, then we can say, hey, we're going to only go to your restaurant. And I'm going to need you to step your game up because we're going to give you 6 to 8 months to make these mistakes. You're going to clear these in 6 months. If 20,000 of us are coming in here on a regular basis, that means you can get a better line of credit. You can get a better line of credit. You can buy more goods. You buy more goods. We expecting a quality product instead of walking away and giving our money back to the oppressor. we can no longer do those things. I'm going to show you a video right now, and then I'm going to continue in my diatribe. Today is going to be a little longer than most episodes. Most episodes are 15, 20 minutes long, including the video. It's going to be a little longer because I got more to say. I'm going to show you this video to show you the type of reason. This is one of the major reasons we need to support each other, because there are ugly people in this world. And those ugly people in this world have done wicked things to us. And in doing those wicked things to us, we need to come up out of this foolishness. Today needs to be the last day that we pay attention to everybody but us. With that being said, listen to this video. I'm only going to play a small snippet of it because playing it in its entirety is not doing Country Boy any justice. And I'm trying to get y'all to go to my website, check your man out. And I need the support, more support there. I enhance, the product gets better, and me and Country Boy blow up like you wouldn't believe. I was going to say something that was disrespectful. I'll be back shortly.
Michael Swerner were kidnapped and killed in Philadelphia, Mississippi during the Civil Rights Movement. They had been participating in the 1964 Freedom Summer Campaign, which sought to register African Americans to vote in Mississippi. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy, you can find more content like this at onemichistory.com. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on Buy Me Coffee and my Patreon page in the description below. Please give me 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and support the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get started. In the early 1960s, Mississippi and other southern states fiercely resisted federal efforts to implement racial integration. Recent Supreme Court rulings had upset the establishment in Mississippi, and they had responded with open hostility. So, as the summer of 1964 approached, white Mississippians braced for an influx of northern college students who had been recruited to assist with the voter registration drive. Media reported exaggerated numbers of youths expected, which prompted a surge in Ku Klux Klan membership numbers in Mississippi. By the time of the summer's arrival, the Klan had more than 10,000 members in the state. During the summer of 1964, members of the Ku Klux Klan burned down 20 African-American churches in Mississippi. On Memorial Day of that year, Michael Swerner and James Chaney gave a speech at the Mount Zion Methodist Church in Longdale, Mississippi, encouraging the congregation to register to vote and inquire about setting up a freedom school. However, the Ku Klux Klan found out about Swerner's voter drive and formulated a plan to impede their progress. They attacked the congregational members and set the church on fire in a calculated attempt to draw.
This is how to get in shape fast.
If you want to drop this, start eating more of these.
The civil rights activists to Neshoba County. However, Michael Swerner was not in the church that day. He had gone to Oxford, Ohio to work with a new group of Freedom Summer volunteers. But upon returning to Mississippi, Michael Swerner, Andrew Goodman, and James Chaney would visit the destroyed Mount Zion Church.
And that's it. I want you to look into that. Go to www.thaendofdabench.com. Watch that video in its entirety. It's going to give you information about our young brother, Emmett Till. He's an ancestor now. And it's also going to give you information about the rest of the story that you saw. It is important that we pay attention to these things. These things are paramount to our success. When you understand the evil you're up against, you understand how to fight that evil. You understand how to fight that evil, then that evil has no power upon you. Continuing with the group economics aspect. And if you want to support, you see at the bottom of the screen, Cash App, The End of the Bench, THAENDOFDABENCH. If you feel like throwing your man a couple coins, couple dollars, couple hundred, couple thousand, whatever you can do. Back to the point. Group economics is the only way we're going to win this. You must establish an economic base because the goal is to be self-sufficient. Every other community in this country is self-sufficient to a point. To a point. When you become self-sufficient, we can support our schools. I saw a video last night. You go to my TikTok page at HRap, you'll see a video of the top 15 worst high schools in the United States of America. They all are in Black communities. And one bothered me, even though I didn't go to that high school. It is called Paul Laurence Dunbar High School on the south side here in Chicago. The reason it bothered me so much, the name Paul Laurence Dunbar at high school used to be synonymous with excellent. So it's one of the top 15 worst high schools in America. That means we are lacking. Again, if we engage in group economics, we can funnel money into our high schools. We can funnel money into Percy Julian with Lewis Phillips, Paul Laurence Dunbar, George Westhouse, Richard T. Crane, Robert Orr, Farragut High School, and so all the high schools here in Chicago, we as a community can support those high schools. We will need the Board of Education. We could contact our pastors. If you got a 10,000 member church, there's no reason that you shouldn't have a, like they used to have when I was a child, Vacation Bible School or some type of school right here while the children are out of school, after school program, teaching history, teaching enhancing mathematics, enhancing reading. We should not wait for our oppressor to enhance our lives. That's like asking a person who is identified as a slave master to give you a good meal. He's not. He'll give you enough to survive. Education is not to overtake power, it is to maintain power. So you can go get a job, not create a job. And that's what we need to get back to. And until we get back to that, we will continue to suffer the consequences of the tyranny of the racist and bigoted and capitalistic mentalities that infest America today. Back to our situation. Now, we're going to eliminate this self-hate. If you are still participating in what I call the Civil War in the United States of America, it runs rampant here in my hometown, Chicago, Illinois, where the west side of Chicago don't like the south side of Chicago. The south side of Chicago don't like the west side of Chicago. And the north side, and the people on the north side, we're pretty much where I'm from, you pretty much forgotten about. But we can no longer do that. There's been this Civil War going on since the enslavement of our people. You have the mulatto person, or the person that they used to call mulatto. That means mixed race person. I'm lighter than you, therefore I'm closer to white, and white is right, so therefore I'm better than you. That's when terms like house Negro, field Negro came about. We can no longer subscribe to those things. And then, well, when you're in the house, you're treated better. No, they were treated like animals. Do you think the woman in the house was treated better than the woman in the field, and both of them are getting raped? Let's get rid of that foolishness. Our brother Malcolm X kind of perpetuated that, the house Negro and the field Negro. I understand his concept, I understand his thought process, but that's wrong, because guess what? You probably got a better chance of the field Negro snitching on people than the house Negro, because he's separated. But that's neither here nor there. We must end that. Another civil war, adults versus the youth. We can no longer denigrate our young people and say what they are not and they are crazy, because what we're doing is parroting tropes and negative opinions about our youth and creativity and creative narratives by the oppressor about our young people. There's about 5 to 7% of the population, no matter what culture you're a part of, that participate in nefarious activities. 5 to 7%. And you ever heard the term, the squeaky wheel gets the oil? So of course, the young men and women of our community who are acting a fool, cutting up, and doing all the things that they shouldn't be doing, they're going to get the news, because nobody wants to say, hey, black people over there doing the thing over there. No, they're not. But guess what? None of my children, my mother has 8 grandchildren. My mother has 8 grandchildren. None of them are doing anything wrong. They all work. They're all great parents. My children don't have children. So guess what? What about them? What about my cousins? None of my cousins, they're not doing anything out of the way. None of their children are doing anything out of the way. But why aren't they on the news? Why aren't they talked about? Because we allow our oppressor to tell us what's going on with our youth. Why is it that when you have a bad treatment, back to the group economics thing, when you have bad treatment at a black restaurant, you go on Facebook, you go on social media, you go everywhere you can and say, this place on 79th and this street and on 5th Avenue, they have the worst place, this. But why don't we do the same thing in the other direction? When we see, why don't we always hit 14-year-old Shanika Johnson, Malik Jones, and going to Harvard University on a full ride academic scholarship? Why ain't nobody doing that? Nobody's doing that. I got a friend whose daughter, and I posted on my social media page, first time I did it in 4 years. Full athletic scholarship, full academic scholarship. Yeah. And people liked it. They should have shared it. If we're going to activate the negative things, we need to do twice as much activation of positive things. We need to be promoting the Country Waynes of the world, the Ha Davis of the world, who have a good, clean fun. Everybody who's doing something on the positive side, we need to be promoting that. Tyler Perry did this, or Eddie Murphy did that. We need to promote those things, just like we promote the negative. Why is it that even if you're participating in things I don't appreciate, why is it that We can talk about the broke dude, the disenfranchised dude, the deadbeat dads of the world, but we don't talk about the abusers. We don't talk about the drug users, the drug dealers. We can talk about this dude don't have, this woman ain't this, and that woman ain't that. What about the women who are busting their behinds every day, working 2 jobs, taking care of their children? Why don't we talk about those? What about the men who got, we have to communicate with the positive, because contrary to popular belief, it's twice as many men and women in this community that are doing the right thing than the wrong. I've said it thousands of times, hundreds of times on my program. We can no longer identify a community by the 12 or 13 dudes standing on the corner doing something that they may or may not need to be doing, versus the 200 or 300 people that are in and out of their house, educating their kids, helping enhancing their lives, getting dressed, going to work, just coming in from work. We ignore those people. We allow them to identify. We major in the minors. The minority of our community is doing illicit things. The majority of our community are doing the righteous things. So do you want to be right, or do you want to be righteous? If you want to be right, you're the problem. That's ego-based. That has nothing to do with God. If you want to be righteous, that means you're going to uplift everything that's positive around you and enhance those things so you can live a better life. So we can no longer denigrate our children. We can no longer denigrate our women. We can no longer disavow our men. There are way more positive men, women, and children in our community. We must start enhancing our lives with our elders. We must start coming together with our families. And see, it's a difference in family and relatives. It's a difference in family and relatives. Your family is who you choose to love on and who you know gonna love you and who do right by you. Your relatives are people who you genetically connected to. You had no choice in that. Some of those people will do right by you. Others, those people who get close to you to do wrong by you. So we're going to create families, and then we're going to create a community, then we're going to create a clan, and then we're going to create a nation. But in order to do that, you must respect yourself. When you respect yourself, you start respecting yourself by not engaging in propagandized lies. This social media campaign that we've all been subjected to. We can no longer participate in that. We need to support me. We need to support Karen Hunter and 126 on Sirius Satellite Radio. I know y'all got $10, man. $10 a month, that's all it costs. And we're going to support our brother Roland Martin. Roland Martin needs to be in a brick and mortar building, not renting from anybody. He needs to own it. And then we can hold his feet to the fire for telling the truth at all times. We cannot wait for these gotcha moments. We can stop promoting fights on social media sites. Social media is for fun, entertainment, and engagement. That's it. It is not a source of news. But what it has been documented that people from other countries, whether it be the Russians, the Chinese, or any other people, have targeted us. And if we're the minority, why do they target us? Again, we're the largest. Why do they target us? Because we are not taking the time to understand who we are, where we come from. Therefore, we don't have a foundation. If you have a foundation, you're weak. If you're weak, you're subjected to anybody's tyranny. Back to my points. The respect factor is understanding that you're under attack. Everything that you see on social media is not real, and you must check and double check everything that you can do, everything that you read. I no longer want to see Bobby Brown has died and Bobby Brown is not dead. I no longer want to see Sherman Hemsley died. He died in 2012. You posted it in 2020 like it just happened. Yeah, it happened 8 years ago. Now it happened 12 years ago. My mother died. Yeah, in 2010. We don't need to do this anymore. We must stop repeating things like this election cycle that happened. Vice President Harris isn't smart. Whether you like, dislike, agree, disagree, or whatever the case is, to say a person who has passed the bar is unintelligent is untenable. It is not believable. This lady has been a state's attorney, a U.S. attorney, a state senator, a U.S. senator, and the vice president, and you want me to tell me that she's the first one to being done, and she ran against a game show host? Let's keep it funky. She ran against a game show host. Richard Dawson is about to be the next president. He's about to be the president twice. Pat Sajak is going to be the president twice. That's what Bob Barker has been the president twice now. So this is what we have to stop doing. I heard, I think it might be. No, find it out. Don't just Google the first thing come up, because the first thing that comes up is part of the propaganda. Do some research. This is because you respect yourself enough to not put stupid stuff out there. And then if you do put something up there stupid or erroneous, be man or woman enough or an adult enough to say, you know what, I was tripping. I reacted too fast and posted some foolishness. That's what we have to do. That's the only way we're going to be successful. You have to love yourself. If you love yourself, you don't have time to denigrate this girl, that man, that they. See, I don't care who you believe in, what you believe in, or how you live your life. Because I love me. You think I'm saying? I can understand you have a different point of view than me. You might believe in, you might be a Jehovah's Witness, you might be a Catholic, you might be a Christian, you might be a Buddhist, you might be this. You know what? All the basic principles and all spiritual foundations are the same. Love your brother as you would love yourself. They all say that. All of them. Love everything. When you are Buddhist or you from the Hindu, you are respecting everything on earth. The Catholicism, Christianity, and Islam tell you to love your brother like you love yourself. You always asking for forgiveness, yet you are always judge not, yet he be judged. We're reading out these same books, and they telling you the same thing, but you, oh, well, you need to believe what I believe. Nah, it's called a personal relationship with your creator. If I love Jesus and you love Muhammad, man, love Muhammad. Because you know what? Muhammad didn't tell you to do. He can tell you to hate Jesus. And I can't remember the scripture, but Jesus sent the 12 out, and he said, go tell me what happened. They came back. They said they representing not like the way you told us to it. You know, Jesus said, hey, don't correct them. I have sheep of different flocks. That means everybody ain't gonna do it like we do it, but they all gonna come back to me. So if you believe in these things and you actually a student of Islam, if you're submitting to God, if you're a Christian to be Christ-like, why don't we start trying to be like Allah and Christ? But that's not too much to ask. Oh man, they sinning, and you sinning by judging them, and you sinning by damning. They going to hell. You just got your front row seat on the Hell Express. So if you're going to condemn people, why don't you read the book, stop acting like your oppressor, stop judging people, and worry about you. Because you know what? If you clean your porch and I clean my porch, if you use a broom and I use a hairbrush and the porches are clean, what difference do it make? Well, I'm just trying to make, no, what you do is continue your personal relationship with God, and he going to continue his personal relationship with his God. And if he adhered to his penance and you adhere to your penance, everybody will be okay, because that's called respect. If you respect yourself, you won't judge anybody. If you respect yourself, you don't have time to hate somebody else or judge somebody else because you're trying to stay in line with your God. And we need to get that out of the way, man. Stop it with this, man. See, oh, they gay. They this, they that. What are you doing? What are you doing? See, we have, all of us, most of us have 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 arms, 2 legs, a heart, 2 lungs, 2 kidneys, a liver, so forth, gallbladder, so forth and so on. Blood in our bodies, 118 bones, 108 bones, 208 bones in our bodies, so forth and so on. Most of us have that. You know, and disabilities not included. But if you're traditional, that's where you are. We have more things in common than we have separate. How about this? I love my woman, you love your woman. You love your man, they love their man. We love our parents, they love their parents. Let's start there. Let's make sure our elders are respected, our women and children are protected, and we come together and get these cracking. With that being said, y'all know it's over for the day. I did probably twice as much time. Yeah, I did exactly twice as much time. Twice as much plus 5. I see y'all tomorrow. Happy New Year. Next time I talk to you, it will be a whole nother year. And I know it's somebody out there, well, the Gregorian calendar. Well, if you're doing that much damn studying, why are you not doing that much peacemaking in your community? Instead of proving everybody wrong because you got this new knowledge and you're going to show everybody you smart. Let's not focus on being right in 2025. Let's focus on being righteous. And when you are righteous, that means you're trying to be closer to your God, and your God is going to help bless you to help people. Don't judge nobody. Be happy. Be safe. God bless you. This is your man HRap. This is the end of the program. 2 fingers, 1 word. I will be back tomorrow,
And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why